Yo, what's up? Today we're going to talk about one of the most liked soldier and squad classes in Enlisted, the snipers. Every veteran knows them and every new player starts with them, and that's quite good because having a sniper squad right at the beginning of your enlisted journey lets you overcome many problems, especially enemies with better weapons, especially enemies with better equipment. But snipers are also a big noob trap, because using them in a wrong or low performance way, as not few people do, will mean that your team just lost a otherwise helpful player. And if multiple people in the team just snipe around without much efficacy, the team very likely is going to lose. So in this guide I will give you all the information you need to know in order to become a great sniper player and to lead your teams to victory, no matter from which distance. Which traps though? Well, snipers, unlike most other soldiers, have a very extreme weakness-strength profile, meaning they have strong weaknesses that you can't overcome, that you have to avoid during battles, and they have great strengths that you want to absolutely use during battles. And if you just mindlessly take snipers and rush into any fight, you will oftentimes be at the very bad end of the stick. That being said, snipers are great if you want to hit high-value targets from far away, especially if your team has problems with these targets and can't deal with them themselves. For example, if the enemies have set up machine gun nests, or your pilots are getting harassed by anti-air guns in the gray zone, the easiest way to deal with them is just to snipe the users of them, and snipers are perfect for that. You can even snipe anti-tank gun crews, despite the shields the anti-tank guns offer, because the heads of anti-tank gun crews always stick out a little bit. And sniping them gives you an instant kill. So this is great. Also, if you see enemy engineers building something, you always want to snipe them. Because most of the time they're either building a rally point, which obviously means you need to kill him, or they are setting up barbed wire and other things, or sandbags, so you want to kill him as fast as possible before he finishes the sandbag. This is a good target. Also, curious tank commanders of tank players who are not careful enough and stick out their tank commanders while driving around. Yep, sniping them is extremely beneficial, not only to annoy this player and have fun in the meantime, but also because many tanks have small tank crews. And if a tank crew loses one, oftentimes the second tanker, the tank severely lacks efficacy, because now you either can't shoot or drive in the same time, or you can either look through the front type of aiming reticle if you want to shoot, or worst case scenario, you now have a loader penalty, meaning you don't have enough or don't have a proper loader in the tank anymore, and your tank gets a plus 100% loading length penalty. And this is horrible, because the difference between a tank that reloads normally or one that needs twice as long is just horrendous. So sniping one curious tank commander is insanely effective, especially if the tanker makes the mistake of sticking his head out once again, which happens surprisingly often. I was surprised myself how often it happens that the tank player just sticks out his second soldier out of the tank and gets the next headshot. So yeah, this is a prime time implementation of snipers. Another noteworthy example of sniper advantages is for new players. If you are using your snipers, since a sniper rifle deals huge damage and also has quite a good precision, it's by far not as reliant on upgrades as other weapons. Because even the normal bolt actions, due to their inaccuracy, meaning the game has dispersion and every shot you do has a specific chance of just missing even if you're perfectly aimed, even they want upgrades, because these upgrades highly reduce this dispersion. But sniper rifles already have the highest precision of all weapons in the game. So your sniper rifle will give you a significant advantage, even without having to invest any silver, against other enemies. And if you're a very new player and you have your basic small squad with one sniper, this sniper also gives you an advantage, depending on the situation, against theoretically other soldier class. Because let's say you're playing against other players and they're already upgraded their squads and they have their machine gunner squad full. If you just start out with a new squad, let's say you only have medics, they will be inevitably weaker than these machine gunners. But snipers, if you play well, if you hide well and if you shoot well, well, they can still overcome and destroy one whole squad. So snipers are one of the few squads where high skill or just good focus and discipline when playing can level the playing field no matter how better equipped your enemies are. But keep in mind, your snipers also have weaknesses, most noteworthy their lack of performance on short range. So you want to avoid short range engagements. Short range is anything, well, under 10 meters, but also mid-range engagements, anything under 100 meters, you rather want to avoid. Reasons are, A, if you get too close to your enemies, all of a sudden an SMG or even semi-auto rifles become deadly because their damage becomes much higher against you, and then it can easily shoot you. Also, this just means that your advantage of your long-range weapon just disappears. And in worst case, you even just get problem aiming if the target is too close. No matter how good your aim is, it's just an unnecessary disadvantage. And since normal infantry soldiers can have vitality perks, giving them plus 35% more life, but your soldiers can't, because snipers get a -2 red penalty, so you can't get vitality, means that your soldiers can't tank as much damage as other soldiers. And if you get too close, this is exactly the amount of damage that will lead to the enemy killing you quickly, even with weaker weapons. So absolutely avoid short range engagements unless you get surprised by someone or you want to cap or whatever, but if possible, avoid it. Another of their weaknesses is their reduced kill rate, meaning on average snipers produce less kills per minute than other classes. There are many reasons for that: positioning, the fact that you're using bolt actions, but also enemies who take cover or just change their paths can effectively avoid snipers. So in order for snipers to be viable, you really need to capitalize on their strengths and on their advantages and not play them like other squads, because then you will just have a worse assaulter squad or worse rifleman squad. So absolutely take the most out of the sniper's advantages. And how do you do this? Very simple. There are 3 ways of positioning yourself. The most basic one is just to stand in the open and have your snipers be all on aggressive mode and just shoot at targets. Especially if you have auto aim activated, meaning your aiming automatically is also on your shooting button. So whenever you shoot somewhere, you're also marking this area. This will instantly alert all of your bots in your squad to shoot in the same direction. And if you see many enemies somewhere and you have even remotely good distance to the target, so they can't just shoot you too easily back, and you have all of your sniper rifles or bolt actions or long range weapons in general, your squad and your bots next to you will be usually getting some kills, and you will of course get even more kills since you're the main player. And then you don't need to think much about positioning. So this is the easiest way to snipe. This is also the usually least reliable, because if the enemies are remotely smart or competent, they will just destroy your squad. And bots aren't that good with sniper rifles as they are with full auto rifles. So yeah, this isn't that. If you want to do this, I will show you later how to perk soldiers to be maximum effective for even this strategy, but usually that's not the best strategy. The second strategy of positioning is to be, and this is the hardest strategy, the exact opposite of the first one, is to be mobile. And now instead of just being in the open or being half hidden, you are constantly changing your position relative to the enemy. Now this obviously requires some good map knowledge. But if you can do this well, you can always find a good way. You can stay mobile and get closer and closer to the objective. But since you have a long distance weapon, you can shoot further and further away, meaning you can basically push the force field of your reach behind the objective and prevent your enemies from getting on the objective. This is an extremely effective strategy of snipers. Or you can just get closer and closer to the objective this way and then just start capping yourself or defending the objective yourself, also quite good. Many objectives, especially highly vertical objectives with multiple floors, give snipers perfect sniping positions on top of the objective, which is also quite useful. Or you just, if there's a forest or something like that, you can maneuver yourself slowly through the forest, and after every 20 seconds you just go behind another tree. This is also quite good. So mobility while being hidden or while accomplishing specific tasks is very effective, but also highly demanding of your skills for snipers. And the third way of positioning is also possibly the second easiest, is just to hide in a good hiding position. Now this requires a bit of map knowledge, though most often it's quite obvious where it's good to hide. And the only thing you need to know about this is that whenever you hide somewhere, and this is how most players, especially new players, play snipers, order your soldiers by clicking X into some corner to stay away from your main soldier. Because the best strategy against snipers is blowing them up. Blowing them up with a tank or with an anti-tank gun. And this is also how snipers were dealt with most often in real life. If you're entering a town or a village and you notice, oh, our soldiers get sniped, an experienced soldier commander will instantly see, alright, where can we expect snipers? Ah, there, okay, in this building, let's just shoot a HE shell into this building. And because you don't want to fuck around too long and find out too often, you just deal with it with high explosive. And the same thing goes for Enlisted. The most dangerous enemy you face aren't other snipers or normal soldiers, it's tanks. And you absolutely want to avoid to get easily shot, so order your soldiers to stay 20 meters away from you, preferably behind some cover. So if you eat an HE shell, you can just switch to the next bot and do this multiple times. And even if you're just in a normal squad and not in a sniper squad and you only have one sniper, doesn't matter. After the first sniper dies, you just pick up the sniper rifle. And congratulations, now you can keep on shooting. So this isn't a problem. But make sure that your bots are well hidden. Also make sure that if you're sitting in your comfy hiding position, that you, if it's possible, just go to slightly different parts of the position. For example, if there are multiple trees, you just go behind other trees, or if there's multiple windows in a house, you just switch the window. So never snipe from the same spot, because this is the easiest way to get found out. Also, if possible, don't stick out your weapon, because that instantly catches attention. Just stay more behind within the cover, and then it becomes much harder to find you, especially because most buildings will throw shadow inside the cover, and then it's completely impossible to find you. So yeah, knowing how to hide and stay hidden as a sniper, extremely helpful, especially in Enlisted, not only in real life. One mistake that many players do is that they take snipers and then just wait for enemies. Now this is the exact opposite of how they should be played. In real life, yes, a sniper can sit the whole day and wait for 5 people to shoot, but in Enlisted the games are much faster and you don't want to waste time waiting. So if you see there are no targets coming, unless there's a strong reason to expect them within the next 20 seconds, just change your position. Never just waste time like that, and make sure that you, preferably with the map knowledge, get yourself into an area where you can expect enemies. Also, even if you're completely new to the game, just look on the map, and most maps in the game are they're quite obvious, where you can see, alright, there's the red arrow, this is where the enemies are coming from. If you don't know where to go, just spend 30, 40, 50 seconds running in one direction to the flanks, either far left or far right of the objective, and then just sit there, and now you have almost always a very nice view into the enemy gray zone. And this is where the enemies are going to be coming from, and now you can shoot them behind their own lines, which is the most effective way of harassing your enemies with your snipers. So how do we build our snipers? Because equipping your soldiers and perking them up is one of the most fun aspects of Enlisted. For snipers, it's really cool because every single decision matters and gives you strong advantages. First of all, the basic equipment should always include an axe and a flask, because you want to be mobile and as fast as possible. Then, since you're mobile, you're gonna likely find good spots to place anti-tank mines, much more likely than other squads. So try to have 2 or 3 anti-tank mines in your squad, and also have 2 or more anti-personnel mines, because since you're running around a lot, you will inevitably find some enemy rally points, and there's nothing better than to put an anti-personnel mine on the rally points to blow them up with a squad that just newly spawned there. And also have a pistol, because sometimes you will have enemies too close to you, and a pistol is actually really good. Also, pistols are quite cheap and Enlisted. They're not strong, but they're cheap, and having one, especially make sure you only get the very good pistols, meaning the last ones, because usually all the pistols before that aren't that reliable. And on top of that, how do you use your weapons? This is the most important question, of course. It depends on the BR. Because the higher the BR, the stronger the sniper rifles. For example, the Germans start with a basic Kar98K sniper. Then you get a bunch of strange Italian things. Then you get a better, faster firing. And then you start getting some questionably reliable sniper rifles. But then you get the first semi-auto sniper rifles. Now these have a higher fire rate, more bullets, but obviously deal less damage, and they also have less precision. So depending on your playstyle, you might want these. Though if you want classical sniping that actually kills every hit with one shot, then you want the bolt action. Now here comes the big advantage obviously you want to do, since depending on how high the BR and the different power level, for example, the last sniper rifles for Germany are absolutely insane. You get a sniper MKB, which is, yeah, it speaks for itself. It's an assault rifle with a scope on it. Then you get a sniper STG, which is a bit better. It has better recoil, though only it has better recoil nominally, but not the recoil that you see in game. And you also get the FG42 sniper version, which is just overall insane. And now the question, which ones do you play? It's not only that you just play the strongest one that you have on your BR, you also want to combo them. Because here's the important part. Many players do the mistake of putting one sniper rifle on their soldier and then giving him an ammo pouch. This is in real life good, but not enlisted. Reasons for that is, the biggest advantage of having two weapons is that within battles you can quickly switch from one weapon to the other, and then you don't need to reload. This is the same as having 10 bullets, because you have 2 times 5, and the switching time is less than half a second, so within a battle, even if you get shot, you can quickly switch and shoot back. This will give you significantly more kills, and instead of having to reload and get shot in the meantime, or to retreat and waste time and reload, you can just keep on shooting. And especially as a sniper who oftentimes has to wait for enemy targets, since if it's optimal obviously to always have ammunition when you see the targets and to actually shoot all of them. And 10 bullets is usually exactly what you need to kill a whole squad of 7 soldiers, because obviously not every shot will land. So yep, this changes the amount of kills you get completely. Snipers who have to reload, they are much worse than snipers who just have a secondary weapon. Now even if you shoot both of them empty, guess what you can do? You switch back to the first, or you just start reloading the second rifle, and then you switch to another soldier. And the soldier is going to keep on reloading, and in the meantime you can snipe with another soldier. So if you have a sniper squad or multiple snipers one squad, this is the most efficient way. And this way you lose the least time and get the most amount of kills. Also, if you progress into higher BRs, what you can do is, you can, for example, with the Soviets, I have a BR3 army, and I have a sniper here, and what he's doing is, he's got a bolt action sniper rifle for long range engagements. Very weak, but if you start the game, you obviously are the furthest away from your targets, and here you can just one-shot every single target. And then if you get closer, he's got a nice semi-auto rifle. And this sniper rifle doesn't have that high damage, but it will still one-shot most enemies. Or at least down them. And then if something happens, if your teammates shoot them or there's something exploding or whatever, you will still get the kill because you dealt the most damage to the target. So yeah, this combo is extremely good. You want to combine weapons with multiple or with different distance optimums, and bolt action to semi-auto is obviously the perfect progression for that. And you can only do this if you dual wield weapons. You can't do this obviously if you use ammo pouches. Now regarding perks, there are 2 ways to perk your snipers. A for bolt action snipers and B for full auto snipers. Here are the perfect perks. This is something you will likely not see anywhere else on the internet for enlisted. First of all, you want to be as fast as possible with shooting. This is the most important thing, just be as fast as possible to overcome the slowness of bolt action snipers. And that's why you give them the fast bolting speed, the fast reload speed, since obviously after every shot you have to do a little bit of reloading. And this, I proved it myself by measuring it works. This used to be bugged for a long time, but now it works finally. This will increase your fire rate by roughly 20% if you have both of these together. Firing 20% faster, especially if you perfectly upgraded your weapon, will make you very good. It means that you can effectively shoot more than once per second. And since you need to aim sometime, this means that you're shooting as fast as you can. Now, obviously, it doesn't help you if you can shoot, let's say, theoretically 5 times per second, since you still need your time to aim. So what you want to reach with your bolt action sniper is that your weapon by itself is fast enough that you don't have to wait, that you can always, once you're ready to start aiming, you can aim because the weapon doesn't slow you down. And you reach exactly this state if you maximize your sniper rifle upgrades together with these two perks. But you also require the additional aim speed, because if your aim speed is too low, you also have to wait. And having plus 20% on aim speed may sound not that much of a deal, but it actually is. Because plus 20, you absolutely feel these 20%. Like, these 20% are highly effective. And despite that, most of your perks are fillers or complementary. You want the breath holding time increase, because no other class profits as much from breath holding as the sniper class. Now here's the big trick, obviously, to not have to always click on hold breath, but to have your breath holding on your shooting button too. So you always automatically hold breath while you're shooting or while you're aiming, not on your shooting. Or you can have it on both. And the rest you can just put on fillers. You have a bit for faster walking, you have a bit for, well, if you catch fire. And changing pose is also useful for snipers, since this is something they actually do quite often. Some people have the combo of faster climbing and higher jumping, because then you can actually reach, especially in cities, some ridiculously remote areas. Though, let's put it this way, I just rather spend less time for positioning and more time on shooting than climbing somewhere up. Because this climbing may be good against bad players, but a good player will still find you and just bitch slap you out of there. And then you just wasted 2 minutes of wanking around the map. So yeah, then, since you can't get vitality, you want something else. And the best perk here is additional health restored, because, yep, if you're well positioned, oftentimes far away from the target, so far that you will survive hits, you want to get as much health as possible back. And this perk gives you exactly that. Also, there's nowhere else to put in your red points. And you also can put one into stamina and one into faster stamina regeneration, so you can actually run for a longer time. You don't need to put too much in here because you won't run so much, but still, this is quite useful. By the way, this is the most useless perk in the whole game. I've never seen any good player use it, and it's just, it could be actually a tier 1 perk because it's so bad. So not even snipers use it, so yeah. And then the last perk, a very important one by the way, the bot improvement perk, since you want your, especially in a sniper squad, where you have 2 additional bot snipers when you use one sniper yourself, you want your other bots, if they're in the open, to also be able to shoot targets, and this perk will make them more precise. So this is the perfect setup for bolt action sniper soldiers. If you have this optimized build, you will feel the difference. It will feel like you're like twice as fast as if you were playing normal sniper soldiers. Then for the full auto snipers, it's a little bit different. This is exactly the same, the only difference are these perks, because if you're full auto spraying, you need the vertical recoil reduction, obviously. So you want to maximize this. And then, well, the question is then, where do you put in the other perks? Obviously not here, because this would be a waste. And you could put it on faster reload, though, guess what? If you have 50 bullets to spray, you don't need that much of reload, especially since you're not reloading after every single bullet. And you can afford waiting for 2.4 seconds. Yeah, that's not much of a problem. And it would be a waste to put in something here. Instead, what I do is I just put the remaining perks here. to make sure that if I get shot, I actually don't die and just get downed, which is very useful for snipers. And since they have a higher chance than normal soldiers anyway, if they're far enough away, since the damage they will take, the bullets they will take will deal less damage, this perk can actually be quite useful. And then one random yellow point that you still have left into this. Now obviously these are sniper trees, so with other builds you won't have as many perk points to spare. If you have sniper 1s, for example, in the beginning, make sure you just fill out the most important perks. For example, here, this is the important one, this isn't important. For green, this is important and this isn't important. And for red, nothing is really that important, though you always have 14. For the end, let's cover the most important question regarding snipers. Where do you actually put them in? Because the sniper squad itself is sadly the worst squad to play snipers, because these squads are very small. They're extremely one-dimensional because they can't do multiple things, since you can't even pick an engineer and a radio man. You can only pick one of those. But the problem is, you want a radio man, so you can easily call artillery strikes all the time while you're staying alive with your squad, which easily will double your kills. But you also want an engineer to build ammo boxes, but also rally points if you found some good flanking position to help your team. So this is a problem, and the only other specialist they can get is, alright, assaulter for short range engagements can be good, but still not that strong. Or an anti-tank gunner, yeah, fine, but yeah, you see, it's just not that good. In the future, once the squad gets its own structure, very likely something like an anti-material rifle that can just penetrate tanks easily. Yeah, this could be good, but still, sniper squad is like the worst squad for snipers, just period. But other squads, they actually unleash the power of snipers really well. First of all, the assaulter squad. Now, obviously, assaulters are short-range specialists, so having one single long-range fighter in them can save your booty in many situations. Reason for that is, let's say you're an American, and you're approaching the bunkers in D-Day, and you're getting harassed by those machine guns in the bunkers, and they're very hard to clear out. And the tankers in your team are brain dead as usual and don't shoot HGs into the bunker. Well, now you whip out your sniper, and all of a sudden you can just snipe all of the machine guns on the map, and congratulations, now your team can approach the area without being shot at. And now, yeah, so this is helpful in not only rifleman squads, where riflemen usually are medium range specialists, but also for, as I said, for assaulter squads, where they are short range specialists and the same problem comes up and you easily deal with the problem. But also in APCs, since APCs are highly mobile by definition, you will oftentimes get into perfect sniping positions without having to waste time running around, because you're driving around with your APC. So having a sniper in an APC is basically a must, because this is one of the most synergistic squad and class combos you can get in the whole game. And the last two squads profiting from snipers, even more than the previous ones, are the mortar squad and the radio squad. And here's the big secret: if you want to play primary snipers enlisted, use these two squads, because then you will actually get large amounts of kills and impact the game highly, and also can snipe while not wasting too much time. Because the reason for it is, first, the radio squad, it's basically an upgraded sniper squad, because here you don't have to choose between engineer or radio man, you get both. You get even a redundant radio man in case the first one dies, and you get your sniper. And since the radio squad, by definition, all it does is waiting in the background and trying to shoot off its artillery strikes, you want to survive and you want to stay out of action for as long as possible. And what you do is you just do the perfect camping strategy for snipers. You just hide your remaining squad and just snipe the whole time. And if this sniper gets killed, just pick any of the other soldiers, preferably first the anti-tank gunner, then the engineer, and only last the radio man, and just pick up the rifle and keep on sniping. And in the meantime, you can build trellis and many ammo boxes, and you will get lots of sniping and lots of artillery striking with your radio man. This is extremely strong, and this is how a sniper squad should be played. And this is also how the sniper squad, if it wasn't horribly designed as it is, would also be able to be played as a specialist. My recommendation for saving the sniper squad would be to give it one more soldier in the squad, and this soldier be able to also be a radio man or engineer, and then you can have both, and then the sniper squad would actually be a proper squad. Because right now it's just possibly the worst squad overall, together with the riders that no one plays. And then regarding mortars, well, these are on lower BRs not that good because the low BR mortars are horrible, but on high BRs, when you get access to the super heavy mortars, which can kill King Tigers and IS tanks from the top, here you suddenly have also a really good synergistic squad for your sniper soldiers, because this squad is basically already sniping because you're sniping with your mortars. And then what you do is you're also sitting far away in the background. You want to survive, and while mortaring you can also call artillery strikes. And after you stop mortaring, or if you have an objective at hand that isn't that good, or if you already killed everyone and there's no reason to keep on mortaring, you can just switch to your sniper and start sniping. And then if you kept the objective, or if the objective switches for some reason, or you see a new area of enemies, or you see some tanks hiding somewhere, you switch back to your mortars and you just mortar the enemy tank away. And once this threat is dealt with, you just keep on sniping. And this squad even has more soldiers than the Radioman squad. So you see, sniper squads, mortar squads, and Radioman squads are quite similar in terms of what they try to accomplish. But the main difference is that the mortar squad is just the best overall of them, because it's the biggest squad. It can do everything. It can do everything reliably. And it just overall has the biggest power, though at least only on high BRs. If you want to have mixed and low BRs, yeah, then the radio squad is the best of them all. But the sniper squad is just overall the worst, because it's not even that good at sniping, ironically enough. So yeah, this is the guide for sniping. Now you know everything you need to know about how to use your snipers and how to build them effectively and actually perform well with them, and make sure that your enemies feel the stink of your aim. Now, if you wonder how to actually aim better and improve your aim, I'm gonna do a new aiming guide. I did one 1.5 years ago when I was quite new here. And these are, yeah, I'm gonna do very good updated ones, where you're gonna see lots of nice aiming secrets to make you a perfect sniper, but also a perfect player overall. Alright? Let me know what you think and which strategies you are using. Let's discuss your ideas in the comments, and if you're new, make sure you like and subscribe and share this with your nerd friends, so that you don't have to suffer through games where half of your teammates are snipers anymore. Alright? Until next time, goodbye.